Hey everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel. It is a little shaky over here today. I look like a mess, and my fan is going. Do you like how it gives you a disco ball effect? It's real fancy. Anyway, it has been a really super rough day today, and I had a really big, long video that I had planned on editing for you guys that I recorded over the weekend that was a big list of mafia romances. I was going to go through ones I've read, plus my super long TBR list to just give everyone the super long list of I don't even know how many mafia romances, 50 books or something like that I had listed out to share with everyone, but I did not have a chance today to edit it. My dad had a heart attack this morning. He is okay and he's stable, but it's very scary. I know he probably has some surgeries coming up, and I wanted to have something out for you guys, but I don't know what my video schedule is going to look like over the next week or so with Dad's health and getting past surgery and all of that. So I'm in my disco ball fan room because it's hotter than bejesus up in Indiana right now. And we have a tornado watch. So let's hope there's no tornadoes. It has been a rough day. Rough day! So I decided that I would do a quick, well, let's be honest. Mary says quick and it's a lie because I'm not quick about anything. But let's do a little bookshelf tour, even though my bookshelves are really small, because I've been asked about a bookshelf tour before, and I've not really done one with you guys because there's nothing to show anybody. But I decided to just suck it up, buttercup. Let's show them my teeny tiny bookshelf tour. That won't be tiny forever because y'all know Mary's planning on getting her home library. So I'm going to show you guys the books I own for now, and then we will talk a little bit about books I want to get for my future library project. Okay, guys. All right, I have my TBR cart. Now, everyone has this cart. Do we not all have this cart, some version of this cart? This is my version of my TBR cart. Now, keep in mind that I have been blind as a bat for the last several years, so I don't do a lot of physical book reading. So my physical TBR is super, super short. But on the top shelf here with my fan, because again, hotter than my Jesus up here, I've got my Bible study books, and then I have the dating plan, and then my 2 library books that I'm in the process of reading. I always keep the one that I'm physically reading at the time next to my bedside, but these are my library books / whatever I'm currently reading. My coloring books, because Mary likes to color, and then this is my actual physical TBR as of right now. I don't have very much on here that you guys haven't already seen. I have got quite a few Bible study books. So pretty much from the middle all the way over is my Bible study books. But I have some other books in here. I also have some books on copywriting that I had bought because me and my sister thought about incorporating that into our little business that we started. So this is all I have for physical TBR. This will probably grow since I can now read with, physical books and glasses. But prior to this, most of my TBR was on Kindle because obviously I blew up the font so I could read it with my blind as a bat self. But I'm excited to tackle the few books I have on here. Alright, you guys, in my office, I have 2 small bookshelves. I have this one and I have this one, and I'll kind of walk you through the books I have on each bookcase. But before I get into it, I want to quickly apologize because the air return in this room, I'll show it to you guys. Don't mind my very empty office here and my creaky floor. Weird hump. And then we have this doober, which is so fun and just makes ridiculous amounts of noise when it kicks on. So if you hear a giant fan noise, you are hearing the air return. I apologize. I cannot fix that. It just is what it is. All right, so in my corner, this is my current library, which will not be this size very much longer. My lovely office furniture, aka camping chair. We're fancy up in here. Fancy up in here. Okay. This first bookshelf is mostly not really books. It's photo albums and keepsake books. So I won't spend a lot of time here other than to say the top 2 shelves are mostly photo albums. This middle shelf has yearbooks, my mom's, mine, different yearbooks, and then some books I talked about in my favorite childhood books video where my mom made books from Rand McNally. I have all my mom's Rand McNally books, but it's kind of fun to have all this accessible so we can look at photos and things whenever we want to. And then the bottom shelf is all my mom's cookbooks, which I've had several people ask me to do, people who know me, asked me to do like a little video about my mom's cookbooks. So I am not much of a chef. I don't cook a lot. But my mom used to collect cookbooks, and I've kept this bottom shelf full. Again, I don't cook. I'm like, let's open a box and, heat it up kind of girl. But my mom loved them, and so I kept the ones that were more interesting, and so she's got some really old ones that are pretty cool that I would love to share with you guys. So if you guys are interested, leave me a comment. I will show you my mom's cookbook collection, or what I have left of her cookbook collection. And then over to my actual physical books, like what I actually own. I'm going to sit in my fancy camping chair here so that I can show you my shelves. You guys get a lovely view of my air vent and my ring light that I'm not using today. All right, guys. So this bottom shelf, a lovely camera work here. I've got a commemorative magazine of Selena. Some books to learn Spanish, which I have not used. I've got the couple of Ekaterina Gordieva books. I've got my Sergei and A Letter to Daria. I think I mentioned those in my childhood favorites video as well. I've got a book of poems from Robert Frost that belonged to my mother. And then some V.C. Andrews books. I've got a few of my Sherilyn Kenyon books I have left. I don't read a lot of Sherilyn Kenyon anymore. I just don't. So, Sherilyn Kenyon. All of my J.R. Ward hardbacks. I need to finish buying J.R. Ward hardbacks, excuse my language, because I love her. And then I've got my Christine Feehan hardbacks, as well as The Wife Upstairs. Loved that book. I squeezed it in there because it's also hardback. Notice I have all my hardbacks pretty much on this bottom shelf because hardbacks go together. They go together. All right, my second shelf was going to be equally as exciting. I have another J.R. Ward compilation book, a bunch of my Book of the Month books. I've got my Francine Rivers books, a couple of these, just a mixture of books that I've read that have been on my videos. So I've got a couple of the Rachel Hollis books, which I don't know if I'll keep after her controversy. I'm not sure that I will keep those. I've got a couple of like Bible study books that I loved. One of those is Silver Refined Books, and what's the name of it? It's by Lisa Turkhurst. What's it called? It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa Turkhurst. Can't talk. And then The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. Love those. Those are like absolute have-to-haves in my library. I've got my couple from James McDonald that I read when I was going through cancer. Loved those as well. And then I've got the Dave Ramsey Complete Money Makeover, which I need to follow his steps. I've got a collection of diet books on the end here because I am fat and I've tried pretty much every diet in the sun. Intuitive eating, 10-day detox diet. I've got a book about lymphedema, Trim Healthy Mama, you name it. If you have some crazy diet thing, I've probably tried it. True story. And then tucked into the top there, I've got a book that's called 400 Writing Prompts, which I used to do this when I was actively writing. I don't write very much anymore. I kept the book because I think it's great. In fact, if you are like an English teacher, let me know. Actually, my sister's an English teacher. I might check with her first, but some of these prompts might be like super useful if you have kids and you want them to have writing prompts. So I might actually bring that up to my sister. And then the very top shelf is all of my paperbacks. So on this left-hand side, I have all of my Bibles. I think I mentioned in a video before, I've got like a million freaking versions of the Bible. Most of them are in this section, along with some devotionals. And then I've got some oddly sized paperbacks. But the majority of the books on this shelf are my J.R. Ward paperbacks, which, as you can tell, are well-loved because the spines are falling apart. And I've got my Christine Feehan paperbacks. I got the entire Dark series. And then on the very top, that one that's kind of tucked up there, that's my first 7 series book that I have from Danica Dark. All right, guys, I now have a fan as a headpiece. Do you like it? Like, look. Wait, can I get it? Can I get it? Hold on. Not quite. But anyways, that's my headpiece. Anywho, that is my very, very small physical book collection. As I mentioned a million times on this channel, I do not have very many physical books because I've moved around so much for work that I just don't have very many. So it's sad, but I have this plan. I actually have a wish list on my Amazon, which is linked below in my channel if anybody loves me and wants to buy me books. But I have a very strict list of books that I want for my physical library. So I have this budgeted for October because I have a third paycheck in October. You know how you get those months that fall where you get the 3 paychecks? So I am using my third paycheck in October to do my library. So I'm going to paint the room, buy some rugs and chairs and bookshelves, and I have a few $100s that I'm putting aside to buy books. Now, my goal is to hit up the thrift stores first because you can buy so much for your money and then go from there. But what I really want to do with this particular library is my goal is to fill it with books that I love. And that means I'm not just going to like a thrift store or a rummage sale and buying a box of books. I want every single book on my shelf to be a book that I love, which means I'm also going to be going through my current bookshelf and I'm going to be going, do I love this book enough that I want to keep it? Or is this something, because since I've, been back in Northwest Indiana, I've collected a few books that I normally wouldn't have collected when I was moving around more. And some of these I don't love. And it's like, if I don't love you, you're not on my shelf. I want it to be where every single book on my bookshelf is a book that I love or an author that I love. And so I have a very strict list of books that I want to put, or authors that I love. So for example, if I go to Goodwill or another thrift store, I know that I pretty much love anything by Julia Quinn. I pretty much love anything by Lisa Kleypas. I pretty much love anything by, you know what I mean? Like I have my authors, Maya Banks, for example, love Maya Banks. So like I have my authors that I know I love them. And if I see their book at the thrift store, I can buy it because I know I love it. Or like the classics, I'd love to have the classics. Like I would love to have like Jane Austen and the Secret Garden book and like, I don't know, Willy Wonka and all those like books that are classics when you're growing up. So that's what I want to put into my actual library. So I'm excited because in October, when I get my third paycheck and I start working on my library project, I will bring you guys along the way. So I'm really excited about it and I can't wait. So yay. All right, guys, that is my very, very small bookshelf tour / book collection. All right, guys, I'm going to bed because I'm exhausted. Have a good one. Bye.